Imagine the worst thing you could possibly think about in the history of the world happening tomorrow, very, very soon. Nothing else can even compete or compare. Yes, I'm talking about TikTok going away. Or for some of you, including me, maybe the best thing that could possibly happen in the history of the world. Not really. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not really on TikTok and I don't use it that much. I find it to be somewhat, shall we say, cringy. Now I know there's cringe on all platforms, right? But TikTok is its own special mix of cringiness. It's the next level. Well, anyway, many of us already know what's going on with TikTok and how there's a ban which supposedly is tomorrow, and it sounds like it's being upheld. Um, Whatever that means, I'm not a legal expert, but upheld meaning I guess it's going to happen. And however, it does sound like it's kind of like this back and forth thing where Trump is like, no, we're going to hold off on it. Biden was before that was like, yeah, we're not going to enforce it. However, now, it is going to be enforced. It sounds like TikTok, it has made a statement on their app if you go on it, at least on the computer, and it was like, temporarily we're going away. So it could be temporary, it could be, who knows exactly. Um, and it might be by tomorrow. Today's the 18th, Saturday. So here's CNN, which is definitely definitely a source of news that I totally watch all the time and follow and trust. But no, it's just a short little video where it sounds like everything they're talking about kind of makes sense. Um, they're talking about what's going on. So let's take a look here.
As many as 170 million users are watching the clock on TikTok in the U.S. In about 32 hours, it's supposed to be outlawed by a
Yeah. So this was posted a day ago, so 32 hours, but
bipartisan
it could be in a few hours now. It's 6:40 p.m. for me right now on the West Coast.
law. The Supreme Court upheld that ban today. They sided with the U.S. government over national security concerns if the app stays under Chinese ownership. But today, the Biden administration signaled it's not going to enforce the ban come Sunday, leaving it to the next administration, which, of course, takes power on Monday.
Okay, so it sounds like yeah, because Biden, everything is so like mixed up right now because Trump is gonna take over in the next couple days or whatever. So like because this is kind of in the middle of them, they have to be like, what do I do? Do I enforce it? Or do I let Trump enforce it? So it looks like Biden's letting Trump enforce it or not or whatever, which is good, I would say.
Here's President Biden a short time ago.
What's your take on the TikTok decision today, sir?
Well, the decision will be made by the next president anyway, so I think it will work.
Okay.
Well, the next president.
That was such a small little quote. Great.
President
One
Donald
sentence.
Trump has been working on an executive order to delay the ban, according to sources. The president-elect posting today that he spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping about the app, which he actually wanted to ban himself at one point. TikTok's CEO is already showing.
Why though? Like why are they delaying it? I don't know. But like they've had how long? A year? This whole situation was like a year ago where they were like, let's ban this thing. It surely was several months ago. I can't remember exactly, but it was a long time that they've had to figure all this out. But
his gratitude with,
whatever.
of course, a TikTok video.
I want to thank President
So here's the nice sounding TikTok CEO right here.
Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. We are grateful and pleased to have the support of a president who truly understands our platform, one who has used TikTok to express his own thoughts and perspectives, connecting with the world and generating more than 60 billion views of his content in the process.
Let's turn now to CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter. Okay, Brian,
It looks
here's
like
the
a
thing.
statue. So, they're going to talk about it a little more. The whole, the idea being that security concerns with TikTok and how the government of China controls it to an extent. So there's a lot of different little details here that I'm not quite sure about, but let's continue.
What happens on Sunday when people click on the TikTok icon on their phone?
It'll be gone.
Initially, at least until a few hours ago, my impression was that the Apple App Store, the Google App Store would have to remove the TikTok app. So if you wanted to download it for the first time, you couldn't. If you still already have the app on your phone, it would just continue to function like normal. But like a car that's running out of gas, it would start to break down and stop functioning over time. However, Brianna, I've changed my thought on this in the last few hours. Now that the Biden administration has said,
You know, a car, you can just fill it up with gas again, right? Does Brian Stelter have a big head, or is it just me? Maybe it's the angle. I don't know. His head looks like the size of his torso almost.
they're not going to enforce the law on Sunday, I don't think users are going to see a change on Sunday unless ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, wants to send a message by telling its users, hey, this app is in trouble. Americans are trying to shut us down. Take action, pressure your politicians. But frankly, they've already achieved that through lobbying action, through influencers. TikTok has pressured politicians, including Trump, and seems to be winning. They seem to have the wind at their backs right now as they try to get this ban reversed. So
he's not necessarily wrong. I mean, it sounds like, the CEO sounded like he had a pleasant commentary on what was going on. We just saw, and they're delaying it, or Trump is trying to, delay the whole situation and stuff. So obviously they have some kind of conversations.
It is possible there could be several different outcomes on Sunday and Monday, but I think for the time being, because Trump has signaled that he wants to negotiate some way out of this, users' experience will probably not change this weekend.
So how does that work? Because Trump told our Pamela Brown this morning he'll be making the decision on TikTok. He's signaling that, as you said. How might he stop it from being banned, or does he just sort of like buy it time?
Yeah, find an American buyer and then convince the Chinese owners.
Yeah, how? So there's been some rumors, right, of like who's gonna buy it potentially. There's been several rumors. There's been, it's gonna be Elon, he's gonna buy it. There's been Mark Cuban. There was something about him possibly trying to buy it. Who else? Oh, Trump. Obviously, there's rumors that maybe Trump's buying, or maybe like they've already struck a deal and Trump bought it. I don't know. Is that even possible? Since he's the president, is it possible for him to do that? And so who else? I forgot. There might have been like a couple others, but they all sound like rumors to me. So like, I don't know. There's no like definitive answer, at least not right now. I haven't really checked the news a ton about that. So like, how long does it take to find a buyer? It could take months, I would think, for like a multi-billion-dollar deal. Like, is it going to take a couple days or a couple weeks? I don't think so, but possibly. I mean, I'm sure there's been many people who have been looking at it, right? So it's certainly possible that someone or a few people or groups are, investors, that kind of thing, are like, have been looking at it and are ready to make some kind of offer. Still, the whole idea where ByteDance was like, well, we're fine selling it, but not with the algorithm. So I don't know, are people going to want to buy it without the algorithm? So that's the thing. So this whole thing is kind of like a complicated mess of like different pieces, moving pieces and stuff, where it's banned, it's not banned. People want to buy it. People don't want to buy it without the algorithm. They don't want to sell the algorithm, but they will sell it. All this different stuff. And it's just a big mess, It's just a cornucopia of mess. I think that's the first time I've used the word cornucopia.
To sell it to that American buyer. Let's just think of someone who's close to Trump, maybe Elon Musk. There are already bids out there from Frank McCourt and Kevin O'Leary, for example. O'Leary of Shark Tank fame has been on this network talking about his bid for TikTok. The issue has been that ByteDance, the Chinese owners, do not want to sell. That's what they've said all along. They do not want to give up any part of TikTok. Will that change under President Trump? Will he have more?
I have not read all the news about this, but I did hear or read at some point that they were fine selling it, just not without the not with the algorithm, is what I understood. But this story has been changing so much week to week, so who knows at this point? Maybe Brian Stelter's right. Maybe it's the first time he's been right. I don't know.
More persuasive powers? Will he come at this differently? That's a big question. What we know is that this is all happening because of Trump 5 years ago calling for a ban. And the reason that Congress signed an act.
It was that long ago? 5 years? Dang, man. It was really that long ago. Holy crap. I was thinking it was like a year ago. What? Maybe that was just when he started talking about the ban and then they actually officially did something a year ago. I don't know. Whatever. My time in my brain is really, really bad.
Enacted this law and wanted it to go into effect on Sunday was precisely to avoid a situation where Trump would try to repeal it, right? This law's timing was on purpose before the inauguration. But now it seems a lot of Democrats don't want to take the blame for this. Biden, Chuck Schumer, they don't want to be blamed for TikTok going down. And so this is being punted to Trump.
Yeah, I mean, that makes they all, I mean, strategically that makes sense, right? And it doesn't surprise anyone, I think, that they would do that. It's just politics.
And I think we know one thing for sure. Trump cares deeply about his popularity. He loves knowing that he has lots of fans on TikTok. He's been crediting TikTok with helping him win re-election. So he seems to have a real change of heart about TikTok, partly for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he just had to throw that in there. Yeah, yeah, sure. We can definitely know that for sure. I mean, obviously, Trump is, in terms of what other people think about him, he's a somewhat sensitive guy. But we don't know that it's personal reasons. Like maybe he truly is like, no, I don't want like security risks in the country. So, but this is CNN, so of course they're gonna have their own editorial opinions thrown in.
Also seems that China can benefit from a bunch of disgruntled Americans who are mad that TikTok is banned, that there's a bit of a win-win there too. But I wonder if it is banned.
What do you mean by that? So like China is gonna benefit from. Oh, so yeah, if yeah, that makes sense. If China is playing that sort of strategy where they're like, haha, yes, let's make this hard and complicated so that Americans can be mad at the American government, which will gain us favor in, the American people's eyes, and it would benefit us, and we'd be like, yes, we are, China is great and stuff, and America's bad, but we're good, and that sort of thing. I could see it benefiting them. It already is benefiting them in that people are moving to other Chinese apps, which is funny because it's kind of like just the same thing. But anyways, we'll get to that in a second. But I just think it's funny. It's like the same thing. They're just moving to TikTok 2.0 and 3.0 with these other Chinese apps. All this is like risky to really start spending the time creating content on these on TikTok and all these other apps. But anyway, yeah, so people are moving to these other apps, and however, there is one good thing coming out of this, I think, which is that people are learning more about the Chinese people on these other apps, which are Chinese apps, and they speak in Chinese. And so they're learning more about the culture, and I think we'll see maybe, well, I don't know if I have the videos, but yeah, they're talking about like the Chinese people are like, we're so grateful that you guys are coming to, Red Note and these other apps, and we can all like see things that we've never seen before, each other's cultures, and talk about things and stuff. So that's pretty cool, actually. I like that. Now, will there be like communist like programming through the apps for Americans? I don't know. Anyways, let's continue with Brian Stelter over here.
And you start seeing people, we've been talking to content creators, and they gravitate towards other apps. What do you think about some of these other apps that have gained popularity?
Okay, so we have, these are some of the, I guess there's maybe one or two other ones that I've heard of, but we got Red Note, Lemonade, and we'll take a look at both of those. Clapper, I don't know anything about. Lemonade is owned by like TikTok, or at least like some kind of offshoot of TikTok. So I don't know. It just sounds like it's the same exact thing.
A little bit like going from broadcast TV with only 3 channels to cable TV with 300. There's not going to be any one winner if TikTok does disappear in the US. There will be a number of different apps. Right now, it's startups, mostly Chinese-owned startups, that are winning the race. If you look at the Apple App Store, look on your phone right now, look at the top free apps. You'll see mostly Chinese-owned apps, including one from ByteDance. You'll also see startups like Flip that I frankly had not heard of a week ago that are trying to capitalize.
Flip was one of the other ones. So the thing is, like, and he's probably right, at least short term, unless TikTok comes back. But yeah, I mean, all these, it's going to fragment, right? And that's good and bad, right? I guess it's good. It's good overall to have competition, but with platforms, it's weird because with platforms, it's not great to have fragmentation, because then you have less potential to grow on a platform if like there's not as big of an audience because it's all spread out amongst a bunch of different platforms, right? So you kind of want everyone on one platform because that potentially will allow you to grow more. At the same time, there's something to be said about like multiple platforms that are more unique and that have different audiences, because then you can grow within those audiences and it might be less competition, it might be less saturated, that kind of thing. So I don't know, but I think that overall you kind of want big audiences, and if it fragments, it's going to be harder to grow a bigger audience, to make more money, or to, have bigger viewership. But, if you're not worried about making money or tons and tons of views that you could potentially get on like TikTok or YouTube, and maybe you just want to be on a certain platform because you like that platform, you like the format, like Instagram, you're a photographer, you want to showcase your photographs, or Twitter, you want to have short snippets and talk about political issues and stuff, then there's something to be said about fragmentation being fine. But I just think overall it seems like fragmentation kind of hurts social media, even though I also want competition, because then that'll create better products. So maybe overall, if there's if there's more competition, then at some point, uh, the best platforms rise. The best products, uh, the cream of the crop. It floats to the top, so to speak, and then people will gravitate more towards the better platforms. So maybe this is an opportunity for better platforms to be created, or for TikTok to have competition and then become better over time, and be even better for. So it's has its pros and cons. Fragmentation.
Capitalize on this. There are lots of different flavors, but there's no one TikTok alternative. Here's the other thing I've noticed, Brianna, when I look at these alternatives, when I look at the conversations about this law and about the national security concerns, the politicians and the experts who say that TikTok is a threat, who are concerned about China's influence, their voices are barely being heard right now. Their voices are missing from the conversation. They're certainly not showing up in your TikTok feed. So it seems to me the people that are calling for this ban to be reversed are winning in the public conversation. The people that have real national security concerns, they seem to be losing right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're losing in the public eye, but if the government wants to pass a law or to uphold a law, I don't know how much power people's opinions about it on TikTok has. There might be some power there, but that's great that everybody, like the general public, doesn't want it to happen, but the law being passed in like the courts or whatever, or being upheld, I don't know how much the judges are going to be like, oh well, the people on TikTok are saying they don't want it to go away, so so we're not going to do it. So I don't know how much power there actually is there. Yeah. But that's basically it for here. But what I wanted to do is take a look at a couple of these other apps, which I know nothing about, other than one is Red Note, one is Lemon8. I don't know who came up with these names. Red Note is Zhao Hong Shu, is what it's called, officially styled as Red Note, commonly known in English as Red Note or Red, is a Chinese social networking and e-commerce platform. It came around. When did it come to be? 2013. So this thing is 11 years old. Dang, but it's Chinese. So some of these apps we never hear anything about because it's popular in other places. Like I didn't know until recently. Well, fairly recent, within the last few years, I guess, that TikTok had a counterpart in China that was different. It's like a totally different app, or that there's some of these other apps like what was it, WhatsApp or whatever, that has like much more functionality, social media functionality, than our version, which is just super stripped down. Um, but yeah, so it's kind of crazy that it's been around for so long. It has been called China's answer to Instagram. And then as of 2020, 70% of the platform's users are reportedly born after 1990. Okay. 70% are female. All right. I wonder what Instagram's is. So the app was initially called Hong Kong Shopping Guide and targeted Chinese tourists. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, what is this? Let's see. We got some history, popularity increase. So they've updated this. In January 2025, the potential banning of TikTok in the US caused many US users to look for a TikTok alternative. So, significant increase in the downloads. Most downloaded free app in the App Store on the 14th of January. TikTok refugee became a trending topic on the app, apparently. So, this is basically it. Now, the thing is, it's, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it's like partially moderated or owned or dealt with by the Chinese government, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, isn't every company in a communist, they're communist, right? I know nothing about geography, okay? So we'll just say that they're communist. Pretty sure they are. In the communist society, isn't every business owned or controlled by the government anyway? Not that like the United States is totally free of governmental control, but I guess less so. But the whole point of like banning TikTok is so that we aren't like infiltrated basically by the Chinese government in a sort of way, or like security, whatever information they're gathering from us through the app is not sent to the Chinese government. And yet here's another app that most likely will be managed by the Chinese government. So like, how long before this one is gonna be like, sorry, you're also violating the rules that we set forth in the United States? I just this is why I'm like, people moving to Red Note, people moving to Lemonade. Like, how long are these apps gonna last? And if they do, there's the fragmentation, and TikTok might come back, and then people are gonna move back to TikTok, and it's all like a big mess, right? Like similar to Twitter, where there was like, oh, Trump created his own app. I forgot what it's called, the Trump Twitter. And then there's several others that are smaller. And then like Threads with Instagram, and how, yeah, there's a lot of people that move there, but only a big part of it is because they were on Instagram already, and it seems like it's just like kind of a lesser version of Twitter, and like not amazing comparatively. So, not that I like Twitter, I'm not a huge fan of X. I rarely go on there. Lemon 8 is a social media app owned by Heliophilia. Okay, don't know what that means, if that's a word. It sounds kind of odd. A Singaporean company connected to the Chinese internet company ByteDance. So, again, it was launched in 2020 and modeled after Zhao Hongshu, which was released in 2013. So, modeled after Red Note. Zhao Hongshu, I'm guessing that's how you say it. But this is a lot newer. It's all yellow, like, Snapchat, so that's cool. It's been compared to Instagram, Pinterest, and Chinese app Zhao, particular focus on lifestyle content targeting women. First launched in May 2020 under the name Cherie, hit 1 million downloads in 2022. Launched in the United States and UK in 2023. One of the most downloaded apps in the US App Store. So let's see more recent stuff. Reception. The launch coincided with scrutiny over ByteDance and TikTok's operations in the country. So, yeah, basically, maybe not the reason, but it kind of came about because of, or around the time that ByteDance and TikTok situation was happening. In 2025, ahead of oral arguments in the United States Supreme Court over an act of Congress that would prohibit ByteDance or its subsidiaries from operating social network services in the United States, TikTok began to increasingly carry sponsored posts that advertise Lemonade. It's kind of a weird name. To U.S. users, the ads promoted Lemonade as a backup app, emphasizes its TikTok account integration. Well, if TikTok goes away, then what use is the I guess maybe to transfer your stuff. Implying it was a platform where the government is not 100% controlling what we see. Okay, so apparently Lemonade is more separated than the government, it sounds like, according to this one little paragraph right here. So maybe it is a company that is in America, is an American company then, but just using like TikTok How is it using TikTok again? Where did it say that? Integrate with TikTok. Um, I don't know. I don't know exactly. In some way, it's using TikTok or integrated with TikTok or based off TikTok in some way. Connection, or maybe it just has a connection. So I'll have to look into it more, but maybe it's just a separate app that is in America. I'm just guessing. And so maybe it's totally fine, you know? So, I mean, maybe, yeah, that's a possibility. Maybe this one takes over, being that it's from ByteDance. Maybe this one totally takes over and it's perfectly fine because it's in America, which I actually don't know. Oh, no, this is Singaporean. So this still is going to have the same rules applied to them because the whole idea of the laws, this whole TikTok situation is that other countries, or at least it's like other, nefarious countries that are like enemies to us, cannot get information from us, basically, something like that. So I don't know about Singapore. Never heard them being like our enemy or anything. So this one could totally be legit and fine. This one, the Red Note one, sounds like it's kind of just gonna be the same as TikTok. So like I don't know, I wouldn't go to this one. But then again, I just wouldn't go to any of these apps in the first place. And that brings us to Hope You Find Your Dad. I just wanted to watch some of her videos. She's been kind of like going on about TikTok for a while now in this situation. Her last post, one of her last posts was like, goodbye, TikTok. But she's kind of talking about in some of these, the whole situation. I'm going to kind of go a little bit back and how it's going to affect Americans and stuff. And so I just think it's kind of interesting what she's talking about. And we'll just...
There are going to be a lot of people who
just see what she's talking about.
laugh about the TikTok ban. It's an incredibly bad time to take income away from a lot of people.
Oh, it's more than a lot, and it's more than just influencers and small businesses. I crunched the numbers today. TikTok is actually so large and involved in the economy that when they ban it, every single person in the United States is going to feel its effects. And I know
Really?
I frequently accidentally end up in the news for a lot of stupid things.
I don't know, maybe. Are people that are not on social media going to feel their effects? I don't know.
But for the love of God, if we could get anything seen by the Supreme Court, let it be what I'm going to say today here. There's about 170 million reoccurring
Is the Supreme Court going to watch TikToks of this person? I don't know about that. I don't know if they care.
users in the United States here on TikTok alone. And simply referring to just the statistics from the small business portion of that, TikTok contributed $24.2 billion to the United States economy in 2023. 15 billion of that was from advertising and marketing on here alone. And again, simply this portion of it reports 224,000 jobs on here that will be lost, which contributed again.
Yeah, so I mean, this is all great and stuff. Yes, people will lose money. TikTok, obviously, you can make money on it. You can become big. You can get sponsors, all this stuff, just like any other platform. That's not the point of the legal situation. That's not the point. It's not like it has no bearing on the situation. The situation is about security. It's about do our enemies get our information? Should we let that happen? And so saying, well, we're going to lose some money, 20 billion or whatever. I don't know that that's a huge number in the grand scheme of things for the economy of the United States. It's good. I mean, we definitely want more. We don't want to lose 20 billion, but the security of our country, I think they care about more in the government than losing 20 billion to TikTok. There's going to be other platforms. People are going to move to the other platforms. They're going to make money there. They're going to start jobs there. So
again, $5.3 billion in taxes to the U.S. government. This study found 40, but I found some that said up to 50% of these businesses said they wouldn't exist at all without this platform. And the moment it goes away, their business will probably tank. Not to mention the fact that...
I mean, that's true, right? Sure, yeah, definitely that's going to happen. That's kind of a risk we take as content creators on any of these platforms, right? Like Viners. What happened to Viners? Yeah, they had to find somewhere else to go. So they went on YouTube, they went on different platforms, and they had to rebuild and stuff. So it sucks. I don't want it to happen to me, which I don't make any money on this because I get not on this channel. And I I'm building other channels too, by the way. You should check out our friend Sky. It's an entertainment channel with cringy content. You should go check that out. But that one's growing pretty quickly, and I'll be able to hopefully monetize that relatively soon. But the thing is, I am also at risk of, I'm at the whim of the mercy of the platform, right? I don't have a huge say if YouTube decides to just shut down, and if Google shuts down YouTube, then I'm gonna have to find another platform or something, right? Or maybe I build on multiple platforms, which I'm not gonna do because that's a lot of work.
All of these numbers were on par for their growth and expected to double and triple in the coming years. Now that number itself is concerning alone, but that's simply people who report as a small business. Referring back to that 170 million users here in the US every month. Of that large number, based off of the things I've seen in my comment section alone, even from smaller accounts, I'm willing to bet that there are a few million of us that also...
So this is just like, this is an argument that has nothing to do with the problem. So it's like, but wait, I know there's security concerns, but people have mouths to feed. Like I'm sorry, but what about the security concerns, right? So she's not addressing the actual problem here. But I understand, like, this is a situation that's going to happen and it's going to suck for sure.
Make money here that aren't reported as small businesses such as myself. My story is similar to a lot of y'all. You were here when I originally went viral because I quit my horrible job and I was panicked because I didn't...
Honestly, go on Shorts and you'll probably do better, just saying. Let's check out another one of her videos here.
Okay. So for starters, yes, TikTok has announced that they're not messing around anymore. If the Supreme Court strikes...
This is an older video. I'm going to go to one of her more recent ones. I'm going to skip over a few of them here. So let's see. This one was 23 hours ago. And updates. Let's just watch some of the updates and then final thoughts.
Well, we now know what TikTok is going to do on Sunday, January 19th. They are going dark.
I shouldn't be laughing in our creator group chat right now, but if we don't laugh, we'll cry. If the TikTok ban wasn't bad enough, and the fact that they just released this statement announcing that they will in fact be going dark on Sunday, you will not be able to access this app. You won't even
this is the statement I mentioned earlier briefly from TikTok. So they're gonna shut down in some way, it seems like.
Able to find it through a VPN, allegedly. That is, unless an absolute miracle occurs, which feels highly unlikely at this point. Feel free to pause to read. But if this all wasn't bad enough, I've been noticing that my Instagram app has been glitching all day, which usually means that Meta is working on a ton of big updates and trying to roll them out all at once, which...
yeah. So all the other current platforms are going to be like, oh, we should take advantage of the fact that everybody's going to be moving somewhere else. We're going to see a surge of people on Instagram, on Twitter, on X, on YouTube. And it's going to be some major changes, actually. As far as, like, what kind of content comes on these platforms, as well as potential increases in viewers and followers. But also, changes with the companies coming out with, like, new features to attract people, right? Because there's all these millions of people, so all these different companies are going to be like, we need to grab as many of these as possible. Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. Our algorithm is like, if you come on here and make 10 shorts, you'll get a boost or something like that. So I just imagine some of these things happening. It's kind of the same thing with, what was it, like TikTok, I think maybe several years ago during the pandemic or something, and they were just coming out with all these, like, or maybe the algorithm, like, heavily favored new people, something like that, and people were finding out that they were growing really fast and they were coming out with these features and stuff, because they were trying to take advantage of the new people coming on the platform.
Never goes well. At first glance, it's not so bad. They brought back rectangular photos, obviously trying to mimic the style over here, and the rest of it is all just as visually offensive as their owner. But if there wasn't...
I rarely go on Instagram these days, too. I'm kind of just over Instagram. I've always been over TikTok. But Yeah, more recently Instagram.
Enough irony behind people talking about boycotting. I went and tried to actually upload something and it wouldn't let me. That's how broken the app is right now. But the worst part about the total Meta rebranding is that everyone knows the cap for Reels is 1.5 minutes, right? But if you just upload a longer video as a post, it will still upload anyways. And most of me and my friends, our best Reels, right, that get millions of views, they're just like on here, 5 to 7 minutes long. I don't know why, but people just like content best, I've noticed, when it's between like 4 to 7 minutes. They like a good mid-length story time. So what did Meta decide to go and do? Instead of just extending the time on Reels to be 10 minutes like it is here, they decided to extend it to be only 3 minutes and get rid of the hack where we could just go and upload long videos anyways. Maybe it's just a glitch on my end, but they're not letting me do any.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if the strategies from TikTok are going to work with Instagram and, that kind of thing now, where, because how you have to potentially create specific content for each platform, right? They all kind of have their own flavor.
Anything over 3 minutes now, which is annoying because usually I sit around 5. And they really, really don't want us sharing information easily. And they decided to distract us by pretending that they made videos longer. We are so cooked. You know where to find me.
So she's saying that because on TikTok, which is kind of cool, you can make longer videos, I think up to like 10 minutes, whatever. Maybe she mentioned it. And Instagram, what was it? Was it 1.5 minutes? And then YouTube is kind of the suckiest at 1 minute. I wish they did 3 minutes or something, 1.5 minutes maybe, I don't know. 1 minute's okay. I guess a lot of the shorts that work really well are like 8 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds anyway. But still, like, maybe there should be variety. I don't know. It's kind of a hard decision, I guess.
Well, we now know what TikTok.
So, and then this is like her most recent one right here.
Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that...
I need you to hear me out for once. A lot of people are confused by this video, but I'm not. I think that this is an Easter egg that indicates that they've already sold TikTok. Or at the very least, they are in the works of a deal to sell it. I don't usually give into conspiracy theories, but it is the last day here, so we're going to run with it. And I explained this to my friends at 4 a.m. last night, and a lot of them said this made perfect sense finally. For all the weird stuff that doesn't make any sense, I think this is how all the puzzle pieces fit together. Also, regardless of my theories, it is still the last day, so you know where to find me to stay updated on everything, right? Please do so.
No.
If you don't already trust
I actually don't, but I wasn't following her anyway, so. So what is this? Supposedly Trump is buying TikTok?
judgment. My final day lie was that my inside source was mostly just my mom and my grandma, who would read the news a lot, and then we're all really good at pattern recognition, so we would take guesses and it always ended up being right. Funny enough, the only time I was ever majorly wrong was when I finally did get an inside source.
So her source is herself with her pattern recognition, I guess. So let's just see what the news is here. Apparently Trump says, "I'm for TikTok."
In public support of him, right? The owners of all the other social media platforms that they all kept arguing we could just go and use instead. And now it's too late. The TikTok ban at this point is at the Supreme Court level, which leans heavily in favor of this guy who appointed a lot of the judges, so they're kind of in his back pocket. And guess what? The only social media app CEO they're missing is the CEO of TikTok. That's when he accepts the invitation to go to this man's inauguration. I think that the world's most confused because it seemed like a weird, like, pro-Donnie ad.
All right. Well, sure. Yeah, Trump is going to own TikTok, I guess. But that's basically it. I mean, just wanted to see what was going on with TikTok. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Is it going to be gone? I personally don't care. You know, I think that YouTube is the best platform overall, shorts and long form. You get that versatility. They also pay out the best if you're interested in making money through YouTube. You can gain a big following. It's difficult on any platform to gain a following unless you win the lottery, so to speak, with like unique content that people really love from the get-go, or you have something about you, like you're really beautiful, and then people just flock to you for some reason. So there's the idea of virality, but it's like winning the lottery kind of. It's random, or it's by happen chance. But typically, most people have to work for it for a long period of time to grow on any of these platforms. So I think that YouTube is fairly, it might be somewhere in the middle as far as like growing on it, but you can grow on it. And in addition to that, it's the best at monetization out of all of them. TikTok is maybe number two, I think, but they're like not great at monetization, at least the last time I checked. And then there's Instagram, which I don't think has monetization, at least built in. Yeah, you can do like sponsorships and stuff, right? So that's kind of how you monetize on Instagram, is through sponsorships. Do they have a shop anymore on there? I honestly don't remember. TikTok has several options, right? There's like, you can, in the chat, you know, people can, I don't even know what they're called, but on YouTube, it's super chats, right? People can pay to send you a message, a chat while you're doing live streams. And then TikTok has that as well. But then TikTok also has shop with like ways you can make money through shop and stuff. Instagram, I don't know, it has like a similar thing to the shop, but you can have your own products at some point promoted under your video. So once you hit certain milestones. So YouTube also has long form horizontal. So the other platforms don't really have that. So YouTube's the most versatile, I would say. And it's the platform that has the most kinds of content as well. It's not all just like obviously vertical, but like so many different kinds of content that can go for hours long, even podcasts, for example, which I was like, it'd be cool to try doing a podcast on TikTok. But it still would be a good like test because they have they have like the 10-minute videos. Am I wrong in that? Do they have 10-minute videos? So like I was like, it could be cool to like have like a 10-minute long TikTok podcast, but they're streaming, like the video goes away after you stream and stuff. So it's kind of like not great. And then what's under TikTok? Like Instagram and then X. I don't know how X is comparatively, but every time I go on X, I just want to leave after a few minutes. So maybe it's good for video for some people. I'm not sure. Maybe that's gonna be on top. Maybe Elon's like, we better turn this into the next TikTok. So that's it. TikTok's going away, and we will see. Maybe I'll do an update in a couple days to see where it's at. But obviously, a lot of people who are on TikTok are gonna have a problem with that, understandably, especially people who obviously make money on TikTok. And TikTok is great for businesses for promoting products and stuff. You can make money pretty immediately promoting products. So that's gonna kind of suck because I was once I start creating like merchandise and stuff, I was hoping to use TikTok to promote that, but I'm gonna try shorts. So we'll see how that goes. So that's about it. We'll see you on the next video, and we'll not see you on TikTok. Bye.